Snapchat, the app that, my kids love, and it's that app that you send out a text or send a picture or whatever, and it disappears after, 10 seconds. And so originally I was very suspicious of it. I was like, why do you always need your messages to disappear in your pictures? It sounds like, if there's sexting going on or whatever. It seemed very nefarious, but kids just really took it up. They all started using it. So naively, I've just kind of acquiesced to that because it just seems to be what everybody's using to communicate with. My kids, I always tell my kids, I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason to not trust you. And so far, my kids are just fantastic. Either that or I'm the most naive parent that's ever lived. Anyway, so they use the Snapchat app. It was funny. Yesterday, I was looking because I wanted to get the story. I saw it returned about 40% yesterday. It went public. This stock just hit the stock market yesterday. So they've taken this app and they have created a company around it, one of these tech companies, and they took it public on the stock market yesterday, and it went up, I think, 44%. So I was going to look and get some details on it, but the funny thing was, when I started to search it, I went up to the Google bar, and I wanted to find other tech companies. There's a lot of tech companies out there that don't make any money. So it reminds me of 1999, 2000. You remember the big tech ramp up into 2000, Pets.com, and that was one of the big ones that was talked about as being something that was just, the stock just soared, never having any revenues. It was basically almost a concept. This was in the .com rush where everybody just assumed anybody who had a domain name was just going to make a fortune because you could reach so many people. And so many of those companies crashed. So I was looking to do a little research yesterday, and so in the Google bar I started to type in tech companies that don't. And I was going to say that don't make money. That's how I was going to search this. But when I got to tech companies that don't, the autofill from Google filled in drug test. So apparently the most popular search are, Silicon Valley millennials that are trying to get on with tech companies when their first thing they type in is tech companies that don't drug test. Anyway, so I did find my information here. I just thought that was funny. Okay, so here's Snapchat. Again, this stock came on the market yesterday, and it immediately went up 44%. Here's some of the financials of it. Snap Inc., the parent company behind Snapchat, filed today for the relevant documents for initial public offering. This is from a couple of months ago before they went public. Currently, Snapchat is losing a ton of money. In fact, they're losing significantly more money than they generate, leading to a cost of revenue that's higher than the revenue itself. In 2016, Snap Inc. reported revenues of $404 million, but lost an enormous $515 million through the same period. These losses are up significantly from 2015, when Snapchat made $372 million and lost $58 million. So you understand, okay, so over the last 2 years, in 2015, they made $373 million. In 2016, they made $404 million. That's a pretty anemic growth. That's about a 10% growth. But their losses went from, $58 million in 2015 to $515 million last year is how much they lost. This is the stock that hit the stock market yesterday and immediately shot up 44%. The S-1 filing has also revealed that Snap Inc. pays $400 million per year to Google for cloud services. In other words, the amount it costs to host Snapchat's infrastructure is only slightly less than their yearly revenue. That's before paying anybody else or anything. Just this one, their platform is costing them almost exactly as much as they're making. Again, the stock went public, and people chewed it up. They loved it. They're grabbing it with both hands. Let's see. Okay, this is from Snapchat's filing. This is in their own words. Snap Inc. admits in their filing that they, quote, have incurred operating losses in the past, expect to incur operating losses in the future, and may never achieve or maintain profitability. That sounds like a statement that you want in a stock that you buy. Did you buy Snap Inc. stock yesterday? If you didn't, maybe some of your mutual funds and your retirement plans did, and maybe the thing takes off. It's either going to be a Facebook, which has been very successful stock, or it's going to be a Twitter, which has been a disaster stock. Let's see. As expected, Snap is hoping to raise $3 billion from this IPO yesterday to give the company a valuation north of $20 billion. I believe at the price they went public at, they ended up being worth something like $40 billion. I'm trying to get that from memory, but it's something like that. The IPO revealed that Snapchat has 158 million daily active users, with growth appearing to continue. 43% of Snapchat's users are in North America. In 2016, last year, the year leading up to the time that their stock went public, they had $611 million in negative cash flow. You know, a lot of these companies, even though they make profits, at least they've got cash flow. Amazon's got cash flow coming in, even though Amazon doesn't make any money, but they've got cash flow. They burned through $611 million last year in negative cash flow. This is part of the insanity of the world that I don't get. Now, I will tell you this too. I remember back when Google went public. This was after the tech meltdown. I think Google went public maybe in 2003, 2004. I'm not exactly sure, but I was a financial advisor at the